Hello everybody and welcome to another edition, the first edition of First Person for the 2025 sports season, and as always sponsored by the Precision Strip Company right down the road in Minster, Ohio. Always looking for good employees, looking for new people, good people. They may be looking for you. If you want to start a career, change one, or finish one, I would urge you to contact Precision Strip. Check them out online, show up in person, or just give them a call. Again, sponsors of First Person here for 5 years on PressProsMagazine.com. A command performance this week with a good friend of ours, four-time state champion in volleyball at St. Henry, and most recently, well, 5 times altogether, but 4 times here, but 5 times altogether. And here at New Bremen High School, DianaKramer, the head volleyball coach. And Diana, we are together because we had a command performance request from a reader who said, I really like volleyball. I'm a big fan, and I particularly like the way DianaKramer talks about with enthusiasm the game of volleyball, why it's such an important sport, why it's such a popular sport now, and gaining in fan popularity all the time. So welcome back. This is the 3rd time we've done this over the years.
Thank you.
Welcome back, and
thanks for having me.
Can't wait to see you play again this year.
Yeah.
Let's answer a couple of questions, because metrics-wise, and I've told you this before over the last couple of years, readership on Press Pros for volleyball is neck and neck with high school football. And I think that's astounding, even though you do play 3 days a week, they play 1 day a week, but yet the enthusiasm and the fan support is there.
I mean, volleyball is the fastest growing sport, or it was the fastest growing sport until the last year. Pickleball is now the fastest growing sport in the United States. But volleyball is fun, it's exciting. There's a point scored every single, time the ball's in play. There's 3 to 4 points scored every minute. It's pure athleticism. It's exciting. You don't know what's going to happen. There's a lot of momentum involved. And the school support in this area is so awesome to see. And while we're playing each other in the MAC or the Shelby County League or the WBL, there's people watching and have eyes on our games at all times, and we're watching other parts in the state of Ohio also, because volleyball is so good in this area and in the state of Ohio.
You talk about a lot about this area and the coaches. We've talked about this before, I think, on a previous First Person, and how many good coaches there are out here who really push this thing and teach well. But I think it's unique, too, the number of young kids that you have. And you've shown me your summer camps here with this gym at New Bremen, full of kids from the 5th grade on. That's really special in this day to get kids that age excited about hard work. And volleyball is hard work. How have you been able to do that?
It is awesome. And in this area, in New Bremen, in a very small school where we have an average of 60 to 65 kids per class, kids aren't moving to New Bremen to play sports because they're not going to go to Minster, they're not going to go to St. Mary's. There's so much school pride for the name that's across the front of their shirt. But once, when I was speaking at a coaching clinic, somebody asked me if I recruited in high school. And I responded with a yes. And I said, well, I teach 2nd grade in New Bremen Elementary, so I'm high-fiving kids and getting kids excited about being part of something bigger than themselves. And the hardest part about coaching is those 30 girls in every single grade, not all of them make it, but it's always more than the game of volleyball. It's more than the sport. It's about the name across the front of your shirt and just having that school pride. And it's so fun to see all the little kids have the school pride, because while everybody's looking up to Joe Burrow and the professional athletes, they're also looking up to the kids that are in this gym that play every Tuesday and Thursday, whether it's volleyball, basketball, football, golf, cross country, track and field, baseball, softball. That's who they know, and that's who they want to be like. So creating that culture is absolutely key to the success of small schools in the state of Ohio, for sure.
DianaKramer, the head volleyball coach at New Bremen, is our guest, our first guest of 2025 on First Person. The athleticism that I see when I come out to the gyms. Now, I've watched basketball and football over the years and baseball, but now I see a different type of athleticism. And you've got kids playing in Division I college. most notably Paige Jones, who went to Michigan, and you've got one at Toledo. You've got them in Indiana. You've got them here around the state of Ohio. How do you develop that kind of athleticism through volleyball? Because, I mean, you've got kids who can jump out of the gym. You've got kids that spike the ball. You've got kids that are on the floor digging in, rug burns, floor burns.
Right.
How do you develop that type of athleticism through volleyball?
Right. I think that it's definitely a want, it's a drive. They see the people that came before them and they want to be like them, but they love working in the weight room. They love to be coached hard. And then they put it all together and they cheer on their teammates and they find a way to get better, because volleyball is a sport that you can't win by yourself. You need other people around you as supporting cast. Even if you're Paige Jones, even if you're Olivia Heitkamp at the University of Toledo, you need those other people. And that's what makes volleyball so cool. It takes 6 people collectively working together. You can't hide anybody in this game. I have a girl at the University of Tiffin right now. She's 5'6" and plays the middle, and she led Division II in blocks last year. It's unbelievable. Her name's Kaylee Friend. I'm sure that you remember watching her play. Melina Schrader's down at UD right now. Kira Steininger's at Georgia right now. And all of these people came from New Bremen. And while I had a small part in their success, they were willing to put in the time outside of practice. Everybody comes to practice. At any school in the state of Ohio, it's what you do outside of practice that makes you better, whether it's volleyball or any other sport you play. And they were willing to put in the time. They were willing to be coached hard. And if I asked them to run through the brick wall, they probably would try it.
I think it's also important to understand it's not just here. And it's not just you, because Nikki Etzler is the reigning state champion in Division 6 over at Coldwater. She was excellent last year, has built that program. People point out this MAC conference for what it is in every sport. As a conference, I don't think there's anybody more competitive.
I don't think so either. I mean, I just looked at last year's standings before the interview, and the teams at the bottom of our standings, the teams that finished 0-9, 1-8, they still won 11 to 12 games in the course of their season. So volleyball in the MAC is by far the most competitive sport out there, from top to bottom. On any given night, anybody can beat anybody, and that's what makes it so fun. It's not, you don't walk into the gym to watch a game where you know somebody's going to win by 40. You walk into the gym because, while I want to beat everybody by 40, and so does the opposing coach, the fans came to see a true competitive game, and that's what they're going to see if they come to watch this game.
All right, Ben, this is for you, because I know you're going to want to know what kind of team New Bremen's going to have this year. You've told me you're young, but you are feisty, you're energetic, just like you would expect from New Bremen.
Right, we are very young. We have 2 seniors, 2 starters back with, some front row play only. We got a lot of freshmen and sophomores playing. However, we compete like crazy. We can beat anybody on any given day. We're also humble enough to know that anybody could beat us on any given day. And what you're going to see from us is a team that grinds and works hard. They're willing to be coached hard. They compete like crazy, and they're not going to back down. With that being said, our schedule's incredibly tough with the MAC. St. Henry is loaded, Versailles is loaded, Coldwater's the defending state champ, so you don't count them out.
Laramie.
Fort Laramie's good. Parkway, look out for Parkway this year. Minster's rising. Fort Recovery's young, but they're rising. I know I'm forgetting someone. Marion Local's going to be there. Like I said, everybody is here. I think that whenever you came in, I tallied the number of teams that we played this summer. So there's 60, we played 64 different high school teams this summer, whether it was in 18-team tournaments here at New Bremen. We had a school named Warren that drove 3.5 hours to come to our tournament here. We had 2 of those. We went up to Cedar Point and played Meadowbrook. We played Circleville. We saw Monroeville. When we had our tournaments here, we saw Kalida, who has the girl going to Rutgers. I did a camp at Paulding. They're on the rise. OG's a defending state qualifier. Fort Laramie's young, but they're going to be good. And like I said, I know I'm forgetting.
State champion, defending state champion.
There's just so many good teams out there. Tiff and Calvert, we scrimmaged them twice. They're going to be forced in Division 7. And I have a long list of teams that could beat anybody. But there's some very, very high-quality volleyball
And
that can be seen this fall.
And impressively, you play in one of the most beautiful gyms in the state of Ohio. It seats probably 1,600, and you fill this place. That's impressive for girls volleyball.
We do.
It really is.
It's just fun. It's fun to watch the community support, and that's what makes small town sports so special, is because they fill the gym. They're excited, not just because they're watching their kid play or their granddaughter play. It's because they're watching New Bremen play, or they're watching, their high school play, their community play, and that's what it's all about.
Everything you wanted to hear from Diana Kramer.
Smart man.
Smart man, absolutely. Thank you, Diana. And good luck to you. Stay healthy. That helps.
Yes, it does.
That
Thank
really
you very
helps.
much.
That really helps. That wraps up the first edition of First Person for 2025, again sponsored by the Precision Strip Company in Minster. If you want to start, change, or finish your career, you couldn't find better people to work with. Give them a call. Check them out online. And again, as I always say, thank you for your support of what we do. 16 years. You said it wouldn't last. 16 years for Press Pros Magazine this year.
It's unbelievable.
Unbelievable. Anyway, we appreciate your support for what we do every year. This is our 16th anniversary, and we're looking forward to another great run, fall, winter, and spring. Until next time for Precision Strip, thank you again. We'll see you next time for another edition of First Person.